And so let's run through different stages when it comes
Love
to
yeah.
advertising, paid advertising, because it's definitely not a plug and play. It really isn't. It can get to that stage, but there's quite a few stages before
You've got
that.
to develop it right to get to that moment.
So the first thing is data collection, and that's where the platforms that we all use, Meta, for example, the social platforms, TikTok, there's most brands using those platforms and have been for many years, and programmatic. So all these platforms use big data analysis to predict outcomes, and then once it gets to that stage, then it becomes AI. So a lot of brands have been using AI for many years, but as most ambitious marketers know, it takes a while to get there, and you've got to be auditing along the process as well.
So I think the question of data that you raised there, that's key, isn't it? So it's got to be trustworthy, clean data. First, was it proprietary owned or first person data?
We're certainly moving into the era where the whole privacy sandbox is becoming more important. Yeah. So data collection needs to be cleaner. But I think first and foremost, brands need to understand that they need to collect more data in smarter ways. That's in
safe
line.
ways as well, presumably, because then there's a risk then on that company who's acquiring all this data. They keep it secure so they don't get hacked.
Exactly, right. Yeah. But also the data collection, mentioning that they have real-time live data. So that's really what advertisers are accessing. So that's why they need to use the platforms. That's why your Meta and your TikTok and your programmatic, your demand-side platforms work so well for advertisers who want that scale, because they're collecting data at scale. They're understanding the habits, the purchase history, interests, the browsing behaviours of consumers that are online at that time. Mm-hmm. So that's the first thing that we need on the progression towards AI. The second thing is machine learning. So
tell me about this. Okay.
So I think machine learning, we've been using machine learning, and as I mentioned before, a lot of marketers have been using machine learning for years and maybe not knowing that it is machine learning, and that's where it all starts. And that's where the machine starts to actually find trends in data, putting patterns together and making what we call algorithms. No one really knows what an algorithm is, and Google's and Facebook's never going to tell us because that's their IP. But it starts with basically matching data sets and making those patterns of data to understand basically what the consumer's doing.
And that's the key, isn't it? The pattern, the thing. When you're crunching when you're talking big data or anything that's more than a handful, it comes to my mind fairly big. But that's when you start to notice the trends